Okay, good afternoon everyone.
Good afternoon.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Fine, no problem.
Okay, good. And who is absent today?
I think no one, sir.
Okay, good. Now before we start our lesson today, we will open it with a prayer. I will lead in a universal way. The prayer begin. Amen. Okay everyone, do you still remember what we had learned in the previous meeting?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
It's about recontact.
Recontact, sir.
Yeah, that's correct. In the recontext, we have three generic structures: orientation, event, and reorientation. And for today's lesson, we will learn about a new text, that is news item text. I think you are already familiar with this topic because you can find this text in newspaper. And I hope at the end of the lesson today, you already understand about the language features, generic structures, and the purpose of the text. And you can also make your own news item text correctly. And for today's activities, I will show you a video about news item text, and that's for the first activity. And then I will explain about the generic structure, language features, and the purpose of the news item text in a presentation, okay?
Okay, sir.
After that, I want you to work in pairs, and I will ask you to open our WhatsApp group that I have already made. And in that group, I want you to open an exercise that I have already sent it. And for the last activity, I will give you another video. And from that video, I want you to work individually and make your own news item text based on the video, and then you can submit it to me, okay? Let's start our lesson.
To start with the latest on the coronavirus pandemic, our leaders are paving the way for a wide-scale easing of restrictions, and it could be sooner than we thought. Billionaire Twiggy Forrest has been accused of blindsiding the government after inviting one of China's diplomats to a media conference. 3 million Australians have downloaded the COVID Safe app in just 3 days, but we need millions more. And Queensland researchers say they could deliver a coronavirus vaccine by September.
And Australia is smashing that curve. We've got now more than 6,700 cases, 90 people have died, and more than 5,600 have recovered. Let's go live to our reporters covering the latest developments. And first to Kerry Yaxley in Canberra. And Kerry, the Prime Minister has signalled a return to a more normal way of life could soon be on the horizon.
Ali, he has. National Cabinet will meet around May 11 to look at the base nationwide restrictions and how and which ones could possibly be eased. Scott Morrison told us not to expect international travel to start up again anytime soon, with the exception of New Zealand. He said it will be a while until we're at large football games or we're going to large church services. Given that the virus is going to be with us for at least a while, the PM says that the ticket to some kind of normal existence are protections, things like the COVID Safe app. Another protection is testing, and businessman Andrew Twiggy Forrest used his Chinese business contacts to help source millions of testing kits for Australia. He and Health Minister Greg Hunt held a press conference to announce this, and a senior Chinese diplomat was part of that press conference. This is particularly significant because relations between Australia and China at the moment are frosty over our push for an independent inquiry into the origins of COVID-19. The Chinese government is not on board with that. The diplomat, who is China's Consul General to Victoria, defended the Chinese government's handling of the outbreak. Nine News understands that neither the Foreign Minister nor the Prime Minister's officers knew that he would be there. We do understand, however, that the Health Minister did know prior that he would be there.
Very interesting. Thanks, Kerry.
World health authorities have said we shouldn't expect a coronavirus vaccine for at least 12 months. But now Brisbane scientists have given us hope it could be much sooner. Jessica Millward is outside the University of Queensland. Jess, researchers think they have a potential vaccine, but when could it be available?
September, Alex, and that's September 2020, so just in a couple of months. That would be extraordinary, but the University of Queensland researchers say they've seen very encouraging results from testing on mice. They've been working on this around the clock. So by September, we could see the vaccine in mass production, possibly millions of doses produced. It would then still need to go through the approval process, and then it's likely that priority would be given to the elderly and our frontline workers. So for the broader Australian public, we're looking at more like early 2021. That is such good news, but on the flip side, some bad news this morning. It has been revealed that so-called drugs that can protect you from coronavirus, some vaccines, are being sold on the dark web, one vaccine being shipped from the US for $24,000. We're being warned to not engage in this. These drugs are not safe, and anyone caught selling them on the dark web face serious criminal charges. Alex?
Jessica Millward, thank you.
A coronavirus-riddled nursing home in Sydney's west is being dubbed the new Ruby Princess, now accounting for the country's second deadliest cluster after a 12th resident died. 34 staff and residents at Newmarch House near Penrith are right now battling COVID-19, and 22 people have so far recovered. The scandal surrounding Queensland MP Trevor Watts is deepening, with pictures emerging of the gathering he allegedly attended. While Mr Watts has maintained he had a quick catch-up with neighbours, police say these pictures show a street party attended by 15 people. Mr Watts has apologised after copping a hefty fine. Overseas, the United Kingdom has reached a grim milestone this morning. It now has the world's third highest coronavirus death toll. More than 26,000 Brits have died, the number jumping by close to 5,000 as government figures include deaths at care homes for the first time.
Okay everyone, do you like the video?
Yes, sir.
Good. And what is the main event that happened in that video?
I know, sir.
What is it, Lucas?
It's about a new discovery of vaccine in Australia, sir.
Yeah, that's correct, Lucas. Now, after you watch the video, I will explain more about the news item text through my presentation. Please enjoy my presentation, okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay everyone, now please pay attention to me, okay? Okay, now what is news item text? Anyone know? Yeah, that's correct. News item is a text which informs readers about events of the day. Let's move to another slide. Now, generic structures. How many generic structures in this text? Anyone know? Yeah, we have 3 generic structures in this text. The first one is main events or newsworthy event. This part, it recounts the event in summary form. And the second is elaboration or background events. Elaboration and background events, they elaborate what happened, to whom and in what circumstance. And the last is resource of information. This part contains comments by participants in, witnesses to, and authorities expert on the event. Okay? Now let's move to another slide. Purpose of the text. Do you know what is the purpose of news item text? Yeah. The purpose of news item text is to inform the readers about newsworthy or important events of the day. Okay. Now the language features. The first one is news item text is using saying verbs like she said, informed, told, and reported, and etc. Second is sometimes at the beginning of the news the scene is mentioned like Jakarta, Kuala Lumpur, and etc. third is news item text is using past tense in explaining news events, but if it is a fact that until now still happen or still in the form of fact, they then can use simple present tense. Okay, and news item text using adverbs of time, place, and manner. And the last is news item text is using passive sentences. This is the example of news item text, and I will read this text for you. After I finish with the text, we will analyze the genetic structure of this text. Okay? 7 killed in accident on Jalan Sultan. 7 people were killed in a collision between a bus, a car, and a truck at 10:35 p.m. on Jalan Sultan last night. The dead were all passengers in the car. Police believe the car may have been trying to overtake the bus when it was struck by a truck coming from the opposite direction. The driver of the car may not have been using his lights, as the truck driver said he did not see the car approaching. The police said the car should not have been trying to pass the bus, since overtaking is not allowed on Jalan Sultan. In addition, the police reported that the car, a small Japanese car, should not have been carrying more than 5 people. The names of the victims are not yet known. Now let's analyze the jury structure. The first paragraph. Is it the main events, background event, or the resource of information? Yeah, this is the main event. Let's move to the second paragraph. Is it the background event or resource of information? Yes, that's correct. This is the background event. And the last is, of course, this is the resource of information. Okay, thank you everyone for paying attention to my presentation. Let's continue our lesson.
Any question about news item text?
No, sir. Not yet, sir.
Good. Now let's move to the exercises. Now please open our WhatsApp group, and in that WhatsApp group I already upload the exercise in there, and then you can find a partner and then you can work in pair to discuss it. And after the discussion, I want one person from the group to present the result of your discussion in front of the class. Okay, now you may start working now.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Working.
Lucas, Dion, do you find any difficulties?
Not yet, sir. We just started, sir.
Good. And if you have any difficulties, please feel free to ask me, okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, time is up everyone. Now, like what I said before, I want one person to present the result of your discussion in front of the class. Any volunteer?
Dion. Me.
Okay, Dion, please come in front.
So, the text is about brave boy found alive after 2 days at sea. Feeling no fear, a 5-year-old boy spent 2 days floating at sea on a mattress in a bid to survive from the effect of the tsunami that killed thousands of people from his town and was reunited with his family on Thursday. He cried as he rushed to his parents, older brother and younger sister at the refugee camp in Maibula, his hometown of 4,000 people in Aceh that was one of the hardest hit in Sunday's disaster. Wira laid calmly in counter to reports the amazing event that brought him back to his family, a rare tale of happiness in the devastated province on the island of Sumatra that has seen nearly 800,000 people killed by flooding. Nursing only a gash to his left leg, Wira said he was playing with his brother and sister near his home when the waters rushed through. According to Antara News Agency, Wira said he held on various floating pieces of wood while being swept away. "I was not afraid because I'm used to the sea," Wira said while messaging his wounded leg. "As I was still holding to a door, the mattress came by, so I decided to climb on it. I was not afraid, but I was cold." Wira said he spent 2 days out at sea until he was found by fishermen on the lookout for the body of coast of Maybula.
Now, Dion, please analyze the generic structure that we have already discussed with Lucas.
Okay. So, the first paragraph is the main event of the story, and then the second and the third paragraph is the background event of the story, and then the rest of the paragraph is the resource of information.
And the multiple choices, have you already finished?
Yes.
Please share it to your friends.
So, the first multiple question is the type of the text is D, news item. And then number 2, who found the boy at the sea? The answer is B, a fisherman. And then, what is the main idea of the sixth paragraph? The answer is D, Wira was holding to a door.
Okay. Thank you, Dion. You may go back to your seat.
Thank you, sir.
And for the second text, we will discuss it together. Okay? I will read it for you. Fires raged across 4 Australian states. Melbourne, January 22. Fire authorities in 4 Australian states are to control bushfires fanned by strong winds and searing temperatures. The Australian reported Sunday that blazes continue to burn in South Australia, Tasmania, Western Australia, and Victoria, where up to 6 homes have been destroyed. In South Australia, much of Adelaide is engulfed in thick smoke. The firefighters, who are confronted by blast furnace winds, try to bring the flames under control. At Robertstown, in the state's mid-north, more than 2,500 acres have already burned. Another bushfire started by lightning struck the earth near Mount Flat on the southern side of Kangaroo Island, while Market Conservation Park in the state's upper southeast is also ablaze. A 7,500 acres fire at Mount Agnew in Zeehan in the state west broke containment lines Saturday afternoon, jumping a road and coming close to homes. The most serious fires in Victoria, where up 6 homes were destroyed by a fire near the town of Anaki, 36 miles west of Melbourne. In Tasmania, falling temperatures and patchy rain brought some relief to firefighters, who continue to monitor 22 blazes across the state. In this text, the resource of information is in the second paragraph, not in the last paragraph. Now, let's discuss about the multiple choices. Number 1, what is the text about? And the answer is C, the effects of fires. And the second, the reporter most likely got information from And the answer is D, firefighters. Number 3, blah blah blah, while Ngakak Conservation Park in the state's upper southeast is also a place. What do the underlined words mean? And the answer is B. Now, for the last activity, I will show you another video again. After you watch the video, I want you to work individually to make your own news item text based on the video. And if you have finished your work, you can submit it to me, okay?
Okay, sir.
Itulah suara burung. Yang tak tidak.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.
Do you find any difficulties, Lucas Dion?
Not yet, sir. I'm not, sir. It's
Okay.
still easy.
Okay, good. And don't forget about the generic structure and the language features, okay?
Okay.
Okay, time is up, everyone. Now please submit to me. Okay, thank you. Do you have any question about the news item text?
No, sir, it's very clear.
Good. If there is no question, then I will ask you a question. Lucas,
Yes.
what are the generic structures of news item text?
Okay, sir. There are 3 generic structures in news item. The first one is main events. And the second one is elaboration. And the last one, or the third one, is results of information.
Great, Lucas. 1 point for you. And Dion, what are the language features of news item text?
Okay, sir. News item text using same verbs. And then in the beginning of news, usually we put the place of the text. And then we use past tense in explaining news event. Also, we use adverbs and passive sentences.
That's correct, Dion. Thank you. And 1 point for you. And okay, I think you all already understand about the news item text. And for today, there is no homework. But in the next meeting, we will have a quiz.
Oh no.
So prepare yourself for the next week. And the material for the quiz next week are recount text and news item text. And thank you very much for your participation for today's lesson. And before we end our lesson today, let's pray first. I will lead the prayer in a universal way, okay? Pray begin. Amen. Okay, thank you everyone. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.